Greetings, mortals. It is I, Remortis, bringing you another guide for Baldur's Gate 3, this time on the Master of Skills, the Bard Rogue Multiclass, also known as the Skill Monkey. Combining the expertise and masteries of the Bard with those of the Rogue, creating a character that is a one-man army when it comes to taking care of matters outside of combat. We'll briefly go over each class and what features it offers this multiclass, some racial options, stats, and a level-by-level guide. But fear not, as there will be timestamps below to skip to what's relevant to you. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Need a door unlocked? A guard persuaded? Or you need to figure out the nature of a magic object or puzzle? The Skilled Monkey's got you covered. This class combination may lack combat prowess, but more than makes up for it by being able to handle most, if not all, situations for your party that it may need outside of combat. Which, in a way, lets your party able to focus more on combat and completely forgo skill checks. Well, almost. The Rogue starts off with 4 skills to be proficient in if you start at level 1, and it also gets expertise in 2 of them. You also get Cunning Action, which allows you to do a lot of abilities as bonus actions instead of actions, and you'll get some interesting subclass choices with the Thief and the Arcane Trickster. The Thief will grant us the ability to have more bonus actions, which can pair nicely with some Bard features, and general utility in combat. Extra inspirations, extra shoves, which could be used for shoving more barrels, and plenty of other neat tricks. And speaking of tricks, the Arcane Trickster gets access to a few illusion enchantment spells similar to the Bard, but more notably, it gets some unique usages out of Mage Hand. If implemented properly in Baldur's Gate 3, this means we'll be able to pickpocket things or loot things from afar, or even disarm traps and locks without triggering them. But I also think the Thief has more potential, though if you want to do Arcane Trickster, go for it. Just be wary. You may want to invest more in intelligence, or find an item to increase that intelligence. The Bard will offer us plenty of utility, all while being a solid support caster, not to mention the sweet tunes it provides. We'll receive inspirations to aid our allies in combat and to perform skills outside of combat. If only we could enhance ourselves with this, then it'd make this build even better. They also get access to plenty of trickery spells to distract or control the battlefield, perfect for a magical thief. We'll get Jack of all trades, which buffs all of our non-proficient skills. We'll also get expertise to boot, just like the Rogue. And for subclasses, the Lore Bard is incredible for the Skill Monkey role, as it will gain another 3 proficiencies when you select it, as well as the Cutting Words feature, which lets you use an inspiration die to lower an attack or skill roll by another creature, typically an enemy, which might make an attack miss you or an ally. You also can get all kinds of sweet spells from additional magical secrets, and there are many good spell options to choose from 3rd level spells and below, as shown here, and there are plenty more beyond this. And of course, you may even want to go to level 10 to get your magical secrets, and we'll get more into that later. While the Skill Monkey Bard Rogue excels out of combat, it can still be useful in combat, through the Rogue's sneak attack damage and the Bard's inspirations and spells. And you can also provide a more utility role as mentioned, by using the Thief's bonus actions, or the Arcane Trickster's Mage Hand to cause shenanigans, if you decide to invest 3 levels of Rogue that is. We'll go over a few level variations for this build, and you can decide which one you prefer. As for racial options, look for races that provide skill bonuses, like the Elves or Halflings for example. Or pick races that gives you access to spells, like Underdark races. But as I always say, choose what you want. These guides are not commandments, they're just suggestions. For stats, we can go with 8 strength, 16 dexterity, 12 constitution, 12 intelligence, 10 wisdom, and 16 charisma. As I personally don't want to have too many negatives in my skills, and it also lets you have 1 extra skill point to put wherever, but it's not really going to matter that much. And obviously you can change the skills that you might like. There are a few variants for this build. I've come up with a few, and I'll list the pros and cons of each. Outweigh the opportunity costs. Some honorable mentions that I'd like to go over first. Rogue 11 and Knowledge Cleric 1. This will give us 8 skills with proficiency, and 6 of those having expertise, as well as getting access to the cantrip Guidance. At level 11, the Rogue gains an ability called Reliable Talent, which means whenever you roll your dice, it will always count as a 10, even if you roll a 1. You also get another iteration of expertise at level 6. And the other honorable mention, which I believe will be the endgame version of this build, which will be 10 Lore Bard, 1 Rogue, and 1 Knowledge Cleric. This will give you access to level 10 Bard features, which will be your second iteration of magical secrets. And again, there's plenty of really good spells to pick from. I could spend a really long time listing them all, but I'm not going to do that for the sake of this video. And then you also get guidance from Cleric as well as 3 iterations of expertise. But ultimately, I think the Rogue 6, Bard 6, the 2 Rogue 10 Bard, and the 4 Rogue 8 Bard to be the better versions of the build, at least for leveling up. I highly encourage getting a subclass for each class as you level up, as it will give you the feel of being a magical Aladdin, so to speak. And both Thief and Arcane Trickster can be useful in different ways. If you want to be more relevant in melee combat, you could go Swords Bard for the flourishes, although I think for the Skill Monkey, you're better off going a Lore Bard. So for the leveling guide, let's grab a Wood Elf. This will give us bonus proficiency in Stealth and Perception by just being a Wood Elf. And we're going to pick a background that will grant us skills that we wouldn't be able to get otherwise. Or you can just pick one that you think fits your character. I'm going to choose either Sage or Soldier here. At level 1 we'll be picking Rogue, and I'll pick up Sleight of Hand, Persuasion, Investigation, and Insight, with Expertise in Sleight of Hand and Persuasion. This will give us a total of 8 proficiencies, with 2 of those being Expertise. At level 2, we'll go to Bard, and we'll pick up the Performance skill, and we'll get Inspiration and some spells. I'll be picking up Vicious Mockery and Friends for cantrips, and Thunderwave, Healing Word, and Talk to Animals and Featherfall for my level 1 spells. Although be careful when you cast Friends, because an NPC will hunt for you after it wears off. But if you linger close enough for the NPC to hunt, yet you're far enough that they won't catch you, they'll eventually give up and you can resume life as normal. At level 3, we'll go for the second level of Bard, picking up Jack of Trades to boost the 7 skills we're non-proficient in. At level 4, we'll pick up Lore Bard, which will give us 3 more skills. And we can get Expertise in 2 more skills that we have, bringing us up to 12 proficient skills, with 4 of those being Expertise. For the new skills we can get, I'll grab Intimidation, Insight, and Medicine. Of course, you can pick what you'd like. I'll put Expertise in Stealth and Perception. We'll also be getting Cutting Words and level 2 spells, which I'll probably take Invisibility, Hold Person, or Lesser Restoration. At level 5, we can go back to Rogue for Cunning Action, or we can go to Bard and pick up a feat such as the Skilled feat, which will get us an additional 3 skills, bringing us to a total of 15 out of the 18 available skills. Sorry, Acrobatics. Although, for the sake of this build, and for leveling up, I'm going to increase my levels in Rogue so I can get my subclass earlier, before I get skilled. So let's go Rogue. At level 6, we'll pick our Rogue subclass. As mentioned before, I think the Thief is better overall, but I'm going to choose Arcane Trickster here in hopes that Mage Hand will be more useful in the live game than early access. And we can pull off some silly heists. And from here on out, we'll level up into Bard, or go to Rogue 4 for an ASI or feat, and then Bard. The choice is up to you. Of course, when you get high enough level, you can respec to the better variants of the build. With that said, I hope you found this guide helpful, and with it, you'll be helpful to your party, by covering all the skills that they may need. And hope you never fail a skill check. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Baldur's Gate 3 guides, but I'm sure this will be the last one before launch. But I probably won't have another video for at least a week or so, since I'll be traveling back home soon, and I'll be escaping the Nautilite alongside all of you. And when that video comes, I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and farewell.